Great. Introduction. I am Fiona Saunders. I'm the talent acquisition manager at Dovetail Games, and I have been here for 9 years. It's just been my anniversary, actually. Time flies. I fell into the games industry by complete fluke. I used to be a wedding photographer, so still in creative industries, but fell into the games industry. I started out as a receptionist and then went to office manager. And then somebody said, "You're good with people, you should work in recruitment." So about 8 years ago, I transitioned into recruitment, and that's where I've been since. Women in Games ambassador, and as a company as well, Dovetail Games are corporate ambassadors for Women in Games. I'm a STEM ambassador and a mental health first aider, and I'm also something called a Connect 5 trainer, which is introducing toolkits to help people with mental health. So that's great. So yeah, quite a few strings to my bow. On a personal level, I've got two teenagers. So I haven't now actually, I've got a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old. But yeah, they keep me busy, and my two dogs as well. And just for effect, because who doesn't like to see a picture of cute dogs? This is Obi and Chewy. The one at the back is very grumpy. The one at the front is very dopey. Yeah, they are funny little dogs. They usually sit behind me on the sofa here, but they are adorable and they keep me busy. So, about the studio. So, we are based, if you haven't heard of us, we're Dovetail Games. We are based in Chatham Historic Dockyard in Kent, and our studio is the one that you can see nearest the river there with the big tower on the end. And our studio actually goes from that first tower all the way down to the end tower. So we've got 17,500 square foot of open plan office there, which is immense. Pre-pandemic, we had lots and lots of people in the office. Post-pandemic, not so much. So we allow our people to work where they do their best work. So we are a fully remote studio if you want to work remote. But if people are your thing, then it's okay to come into the office. We have desks if you want to use them, or if you just want to come in 1 or 2 days a week as well, that's absolutely fine. We actually want to give people the flexibility to work where they do their best work, hence the reason why, so many of us work in different ways. If you don't know Chatham Historic Dockyard, it is home to a lot of filming. Just to name a few things, we've got Call the Midwife. That is filmed there all of the time. You've probably seen the famous scene of all the washing hung across the buildings. That's actually hung onto our building there, that's along the front there. Loki season 2 was filmed there. SAS Rogue Heroes, The Crown, Bridgerton, James Bond, Tom Cruise dropped in on his helicopter recently as well for the Mission Impossible films. So yeah, home to a lot of filming. Studio itself, I will show you some pictures. So we'll move on. So this is our reception area. Little fun fact, our reception desk there was actually made out of some of the old boats and the wood that they use for storage. And you probably can't see it that well in the picture. You can probably see the little black bits along the edge. They are dovetail joints. Who knew? So that is the reception of our studio. This is our new playtest lab. And as you can see from here, this is the studio that goes all the way down to the back. All open plan, lots of different areas to hang out, kitchen areas to grab coffee, and then all our desks are down the far end. So a very relaxed atmosphere and pretty cool. We love it in there. The big blue thing that you can see along the top is actually the sock that carries all of the air down from the bottom of the cellar, and then it pumps air up. So it's a really cool cooling system and really good for the environment, which is another win. One of our seating areas there. So just to touch a little bit, really high level on our exec team. So we have co-CEOs and they are Gemma Brown and Rob O'Farrell. They lead the whole company, and then we have all of our operations, development, QA, etc., that work underneath them. So we were recently acquired, I say recently, we were acquired by Focus Entertainment or Pull Up Entertainment back in 2023. They are a French company, probably best known for Space Marine. Not much has changed for us as a studio. We are still relatively independent. It just means that we have funding, etc., so that we can work on bigger and better projects. So our values are really important to us, and anybody that we employ, we want them to embody these values. And actually, when we're interviewing and speaking to people, we want to make sure that we align, not just with thought process. And a lot of people, you'll probably hear the words cultural fit. I'm not a fan of that. I think values are more important to align, but our values are be bold, aspire for greatness, have passion, and show care. And we actually have a reward system in place for people, and those awards take place quarterly, but all of our people can nominate each other for living by our values, which is a really nice way. I've probably can't see, but on the shelves there I have one of these on my shelf for having passion. So, benefits of working within a game studio. Actually, it's like no other company because it is so relaxed. We have a lot of lovely benefits. So, we get nice holiday, we have Christmas shutdown. Something that's a little bit different, actually, we do something called half day payday. So, that is actually today. So, we finish at lunchtime. Company wide, everyone just gets to enjoy a longer weekend, and we get paid today, and that happens every month. So really nice perk. We get something called a health cash plan, so that you can claim back things like dentistry, eye care, wellness, scans, all sorts of things. We get the flexibility of working where we do our best work. So as you can see, I'm at home today, but I do go into the office because I need that human recharge once a week. So I go into the office once a week. We have something called an explorer policy, and that explorer policy allows you to travel overseas for up to 4 weeks of the year whilst working. So you can essentially pick up your laptop, take it with you, and go and work somewhere else, even from a beach, I'm guessing, if the sun's not going to put you off your laptop. We have a really good well-being culture, so well-being is really important to us. So we have a team of mental health first aiders, lots of mental health support. We have a lot of salary sacrifice schemes, gym membership, etc. Free swag, so industry standard. We're always sending out free stuff. You can probably see there's a lot of stuff behind me on that shelf. Pins are our thing. Every release we have a pin, and then other things. Voucher on your birthday, day off on your birthday. So lots of really nice things that a lot of other companies kind of don't give. So we'll move on to our games a little bit. So we are most known for our Train Sim World franchise. So we have a core release that is released every year. And then we have our DLC, which is a downloadable content, which is released throughout that year. So our cycle is probably every 6 to 8 weeks, we release a piece of content across our Train Sim World. We also have a game called Train Sim Classic. That's actually developed within its own engine, and that was actually our legacy product, our main product that we had when we first started out, until we moved on to the Train Sim World franchise, which is developed in Unreal Engine. Train Sim World 6 is our latest release, and that is across multi-platform as well. You may have seen or may not have seen our most recent announcement for Metro Rivals. Metro Rivals is a new game, not quite out. You can wish list it. I'll have to put my teeth in today. I'm not speaking very well. So Metro Rivals comes out next year. It's all about the New York subway, and Titans can play solo and race against yourself, or clash with your friends and play against other people. Now, I have played this game on demo. It is so cool. It looks fantastic. The colours, the music, the Titans, really cool. Really excited about this. So what else have we released? What's new? What have we had recently? Train Sim World VR, Train Sim World Tycoon, Roblox, and we had Thomas and friends who joined Train Sim World 5 and 6. Who doesn't love Thomas? The facial expressions on Thomas are awesome, so nostalgic for me. Something that we've really been excited about as a studio, and it's great to see it in those Train Sim World games. So I do have a little video next, so hopefully the sound will play. So yeah, that was a little taster of what we do as a studio. Yes, it's trains, but we have such a passionate following community, and the people that generally play our games are actually real kind of people that go out, see the train, feel the train, and they bring that kind of back into the community, and that's why we have people that are hugely passionate about our games. With the Metro Rivals, obviously we're going to be reaching out to a different audience because it's going to be a little bit different because you're going to be clashing that multiplayer. So we've got some really exciting stuff coming. But I hope that's kind of given a good idea if you hadn't heard of us before. So the studio as a whole, creative services kind of knocked up this image for us, and I think it gives a really good idea of how all of the teams fit together and the jobs that are available within Dovetail Games. As you can see, all of those kind of departments, we have development, which would include our artists, game developers, software engineers, game designers, all of those would be within the development, producers, development managers, etc. QA, localization to test the games, localize the games into different languages, and then we have the back-end office. Creative services, you might not have heard creative services, but that would be graphic design, video editors, etc., that make all of our assets to make our games game ready. And then our forward-facing community, marketing, retail, etc., that get everything onto the storefronts ready to sell out to the players. I think that's a really good image of showing how a studio works together. So UK games industry currently worth 7.62 billion, which is huge. UK games partially or fully made in the UK, Minecraft, Football Manager, Sackboy, Formula One, many more. But as you know or may not know, I'm not sure if Will talked about it beforehand, there's a lot of turbulence in the games industry right now, with a lot of studios struggling, either going under, people being laid off, etc. I think a lot of it is down to the pandemic, people overhiring at that time, and now trying to claw back. So it's a tough time, especially if you're coming into games, but don't despair. Things will look up. It's a dynamic, changing market at the moment. So it's tough times, but we will rise again. So I touched earlier on the fact that I'm a Women in Games ambassador. 70% of people working in the games industry are currently male, compared to 28% female, 2% non-binary. So, anything we can do to get more females into the games industry, I'm all for. As a company as well, we are corporate ambassadors for Women in Games, and I do quite a lot of talks as well, hugely passionate about it. If I can kind of change one person not to think that it's a male industry, then my job is done. And there are so many jobs within the games industry. We have different disciplines, video games creative. So if you like playing around with videos, you like social media, create some videos. Community, whether or not you're a social media manager, graphic design, there is something for everybody. If you're like me, I am not good with games design, programming, and or anything like that. If you're good with people, look at people facing roles. For instance, people always need PAs. We need people in finance. We need people in recruitment. We need people in HR. There is a job for everybody. And honestly, it's such a great environment to be involved in. If you do want to get into programming, etc., then focusing on STEM subjects, masters, etc., computer sciences, really important. So coding, TSW, I did say earlier we use Unreal Engine, and I will get onto that as well. A lot of studios use C#, and their engine is Unity. We use Unreal and C++. So if you were to come and get a job with us, we would expect core fundamentals within C++, and we would test you accordingly on that as well. All of this can be self-taught. You can look at things like YouTube, but I highly recommend doing your computer sciences, being strong in physics, maths, etc., and then doing that university course and getting your masters. Python is another language that we use. across the board. Blueprinting within Unreal. If you're not aware of blueprinting, and you're kind of thinking, where do I start with Unreal? Unreal is free to download, so go and have a look at it, and then really look at the blueprinting system in UE4. A great way to learn the concept of coding, and it's really visual, so highly recommend, and it makes it easier to then go on to learning later. Modding, if you are looking to get a fun way into games, doing modifications for existing games is a really good way. A lot of people that work for us or within our communities, they do a lot of modding, particularly on the Train Sim Classic titles as well. So, good way to get noticed, a good way to understand games design, etc. as well. And again, just some of those other roles that are achievable. Things like QA testers are a really good way to get into games. We are not looking for you to have been to university. We are, it's an entry level role. So we would be looking for good attention to detail, actually being able to do those repetitive tasks, playing the game, writing those bug reports, etc. A lot of people that start within QA actually go on to really, really good roles in production, exec producer, etc. So it's a good way of getting an overview of the business and actually learning how games are made and the pitfalls and the things that can happen and the fires you need to put out. QA testing is a great role to be in. Focusing on apprenticeships. So apprenticeships are a really good way to get into games. So we have people that come in as IT apprentice, people, facilities apprentices. I can think of 3 that we've brought through within the last year or so. And it's a really great way of getting that exposure to the games industry. If you haven't thought about it, do it. It's a good way to be paid on the job, learn the industry, and get a qualification. CVs, portfolios, etc. Always think of CVs, portfolios as your shop window. I think that's the best way that I can describe it. If a job that you're applying for asks for a cover letter, write one. It's okay to copy and paste from the last one, but make sure that you then put in the right name of the people that you're writing that cover letter to. I see that a lot, of people not changing it, which is poor. So yeah, a good covering letter. We want to see the human behind you. AI has its place. AI is a great starting point, but make sure that you personalize anything you write and make it sound like you. That's my biggest bugbear with AI at the moment. If you're creating your CV, try and keep it to 1 page. We don't want to go through 7 pages of a CV. One, it's exhausting, especially when I've got 100 CVs to look through. But I just want to go through those points. Have you got the skill set? Does it align with the job description? And a portfolio. If you're asked to provide a portfolio, whether that's an art station for an art role, whether it's a programming role that you're looking for, we are looking for a portfolio. We want to see what you can do, and everything needs to align. And it is your shop window. I know Will spoke earlier about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really important. That is one of the best tools that you can use for networking. So recommend following the studios that you really admire, following the recruiters, drop people messages and really reach out. If you are lucky enough to get an interview, then sorry, a little bit more about your CV there, and I should have flicked on. But if you are lucky enough to get an interview, it's always good to ask questions throughout the interview. So a few questions are on the screen there for you to say within an interview environment. I have interviews sometimes, and sometimes I feel like people have kind of switched off a little bit. And we say, do you have any questions for us? And they go, no, thanks, I'm good. Ask questions, even if it's just like, what's your favorite thing about working at the studio? It really shows that you're interested and you're invested, and it is a two-way street. It's really important. We are nearly near the end, just to let you know. So Dovetail Play Lab, what is it? This is our Play Lab where we set this up recently, back in the summer. And this is a chance for us to really get valuable feedback and find out how our games and get analytics, etc., of how our games are hitting the audiences that we're selling them to. So our Play Lab is designed to um, get that valuable data, valuable insights, and feed it back to the team so that we can improve everything that we are putting out. If anybody wants to get involved within that play testing, have a look, go onto the website. You can see it all on there, but it's a really great way to be a part of that community of feeding back. A lot of studios will do this as well, so it's a great way of getting into games and testing. Socials, follow them. Obviously, the main theme here is at Dovetail Games. Have a follow. You will find out what we're doing as people culture, but also find out about jobs, etc. And really get to see what working life looks like at Dovetail Games from those pages. Questions? Not sure if I've got time, May.
Hi, Fiona. Thank you so much. No, that was really brilliant. We do have a question. How are the trains you see in Train Sim World and slash or Train Sim Classic modeled?
So we have our artists going out on reference trips. A really good question, by the way. Thank you for that. Um, yeah, so we have our artists. They go out on reference trips to see the real trains in action, um, and they will model on that. So any artists that we hire, we have to make sure that they are really hot on their dimensions and their reference. Just because everything we do is based off of those real worlds, real trains, real environments, real places. So everything has to look as realistic as possible. We actually send our audio team out on the reference trips as well, and they have cable tied little microphones to the bottoms of trains, which has been a little bit nerve-wracking when we've had to hire equipment, just so that we can make everything as authentic as possible.
Oh, well, someone has said I'd love to work for Dovetail.
Network, drop me a message on LinkedIn. You know, we do have work experience programs that run once a year as well. So you can find out all about that on our website.
100%. And if you say you've come to this talk, you've listened to Fiona, you've loved what she said, that will really make you stand out. Um, Any other questions, do put in the chat. I will, just because this is the last one, the last ever talk.
Oh,
I know, but like we definitely ended with a bang. Okay. Currently in college in Birmingham, but working for Dovetail would be quite good. Yeah.
network, yep, network. I mean, as you heard, we are a fully remote studio. I would love to get a formal kind of grad program, internship program. So you never know if that's something that I'm looking at in the new year. It's always worth reaching out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Fiona. We'll let you get on with your half day.